Hey, soul family. Welcome to Healing Truth Tarot. My name is Shelly. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome, welcome, welcome if you are new. All right, we're pretty much going to get right into it. So I pulled, I have pre-shuffled and pre-pulled the cards. Everything's been cleansed. Myself, my space, my cards. The cards were flying out. It was a beautiful thing. Also please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment mostly. Pardon me, dropped a card. Comment, that would be great. I do read comments and I do respond. And so let's get right into it. So we pulled cards out of the Rider-Waite. 3 cards out of there, 3 cards out of Crystal Visions, 3 cards out of the Meaning Tarot, and after that we'll do some words out of the word jar. That we have Healing Energy Oracle and the Daily Angel Message Oracle, and the last card that I pulled was from the Del Toro deck. So here we go, let's go. The Empress. 7 of Pentacles. 10 of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. 2 of Swords. The Sun. 9 of Swords. The Moon. And the Ace of Wands. So we'll start with those. That's enough. All right, so that's just the general energy of what's going on. Oh, so the Empress. The Empress embodies all of the queens. So while she is loving, caring, she's not overly emotional. She carries the energy of the Queen of Swords as well, so she cuts out any BS out of her life, any people that don't serve her higher purpose. But she is there, she does those things to serve your higher purpose, and that is the energy that you are in right now, is that Empress. And it is because after trials, tribulations, upsets, delays, you're finally starting to see the fruits of your labor. Okay. So I'm getting a couple things from that 7 of Pentacles. I'm getting some of that is side hustles or new job positions you've been looking at. Entrepreneurship, creative work, and coins is an earth, is the earth element. So things move a little slow, and you're not quite there yet because it's a 9, it's not a 10. So you're not quite there yet, but you're working on it, and it's coming. But there's some other work that needs to be done. All right, so I'm going to warn you before I start talking about moons. I had to redo this video because the first time I did it, excuse me, the first time I did it, we have a full moon coming up on Sunday, on the 21st, or the 22nd, depending on where you are. And I kept saying new moon for some reason. Okay, listen. If someone says, which way do I go? I will point right and say left. That's just the way my brain works. So if I say new moon, I mean full moon. Because once I get rolling, I'm rolling and I'm not really hearing anything I'm saying. All right, so the thing is that there is some more work to do because we have 3 planets in retrograde as we speak. And these planets don't do the same thing that the Mercury retrograde, which is coming up, by the way. They don't do the same thing. These bring things to light, which perfectly matches up with the full moon that's coming. The full moon in Capricorn, which is also Earth energy. So Coins is a Capricorn energy. So it's Pluto in retrograde till October 11th, Neptune until December 7th, and Saturn until November 15th. And then, to top off all those other beautiful retrogrades, we have Mercury going retrograde from August 4th to August 27th. Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap. And I used to dread it because I knew everything was going to slow down, and there were going to be technical issues, and there were going to be financial issues, and there was going to be communicative issues. I knew all that, and it was like that 3 weeks of that. I mean, right in the dirt of it, right? Feet dug right down in the dirt, just planted right in that retrograde. Nothing anybody can do about it. So you may have seen signs of it already in regards to technology, in communication, travel, delays. So I will share an experience, and this happened today. Our utility company for our gas and electric is, we still have electric and gas, but anything else, payments, looking at your account, the app, everything is just done right now. And there were some issues earlier today at a store with some cash registers that didn't want to go. They just wouldn't work. Didn't last long. But that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Those types of delays, and you might see it because you'll start feeling Mercury retrograde 3 weeks before the retrograde, which is where we're at now with the shadow, and then the retrograde itself, and then what goes direct, and then we're still in the shadow 3 weeks after. So it's 9 weeks of mishaps, delays, and stuff just not happening at the pace we want it to. This is the universe's way of telling us to plant our butts and take some time to ourselves. Mercury retrograde is a reset. So there was a power outage. The grid went down in New York City a few days ago. Well, that happens a lot in New York City. But if we went back on the history, it wouldn't surprise me if those happened around retrogrades, those where the grids go down. So stuff like that is bound to happen, and it might happen in a bigger way than we're used to. The energies right now are not messing around. These are intense energies. So take a deep breath and dig yourself in and do some more of that inner work, because these other planets in retrograde, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, these are going to show us things, especially with the full moon. They're going to be illuminated. Things are going to be illuminated that we're missing, that we didn't see before. Things may come back around that you thought you dealt with. And that includes old thought patterns, people, situations. So just setting you straight on that, folks. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. We just got to go with it. It is totally out of our control. Totally out of your control. All right. And then we have the Ten of Cups. Well, this is what happens, once you're done tending to these things, the rest of this stuff that needs to be tended to. So I'm seeing after the retrograde, Mercury retrograde, after that diminishes, you're going to start feeling more comfort. You're going to start getting along better with people, because I feel like a group of you are having some stuff going on in your home life where you're on edge, other people are on edge, but nobody's saying what they want to say. Because if you say what you want to say, your head might literally explode. And the crap will hit the fan, and people are going to be angry, and people are going to be mad. So you're getting a chance to sit down, take it easy. Spirit says spend some time apart from these people. It's not that you don't love them. It has nothing to do with it. Human beings are not meant to be around other human beings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every human being needs alone time. So Spirit's telling me to let you know to go get that alone time. Okay? You're going to be all right. And, you know, the crap might hit the fan. It might. But you might be better for it. Just when the crap does hit the fan, if it hits the fan, choose your words. Show as much love in those situations as possible. Show as much love as possible. Because people get irritated with one another, and nobody wants to say anything because they're afraid of themselves and how they're going to speak out. So, just show as much love as possible. You're going to be okay. Because if something comes out, it needed to. But we can choose the way in which it comes out. All right. So next we have, all right, those three were from our Rider-Waite. Now we're getting our three from the Crystal Visions Tarot deck. We have the Wheel of Fortune. What goes around comes around. Now with that Seven of Coins, as I say, that's slow-moving energy. In the next 9 weeks, you're going to start seeing things that you've been waiting on coming around. You're going to start seeing them come around. These things you've been working on, things you've been waiting for, they're going to start coming to you. And there's probably signs and signals right now, but you're just not seeing it because, not for nothing, the world is chaotic. And you are picking up other people's energy. You're picking up the collective's energy on a spiritual level. You're picking up your soul on a soul level. You're picking up that chaos that's going on. People are just trying to ground themselves in some type of comfort. And I have to tell you, you're not going to find the comfort that you're looking for right now outside of you. You're going to have to go inside and find that comfort. Because no one's going to be able to, these people around you can't find their own comfort, so they can't, it's impossible for them to give you the type of comfort that you really need. Okay? Spirit's also telling me validation. You don't need another human to validate you. Spirit validates you. So you validate you. Your guides, angels, ancestors, they validate you. They celebrate you. They're clapping for you. They're throwing parties. They're blowing trumpets. They're doing all kinds of celebratory type stuff because they are celebrating you and how far you've come. So you are validated. So if you don't hear from another human being, it's okay because other human beings have their own crap. They've got their own stuff they're working on. As a collective, we are getting rid of, this is where the chaos is coming from. It's coming from fear, but not just because we're out of our comfort zones, but because change is happening. We instigated this change, whether it's conscious or subconscious. We instigated this change so that we wouldn't annihilate ourselves. And that could be on the table in the future. I don't know. But right now, we've chosen to move along. And unfortunately, when old thought patterns, old paradigms, old powers fall, there's a lot of chaos because these old paradigms, thought patterns, and powers are grappling for a foothold to get back up on top where they were. Well, they're not on top anymore. Things are being revealed on a world level and a personal level. Things are being revealed. And whoever was up on top or whatever was up on top is moving down. And not so much slow, it's not as slow as it was. It's really speeding up. It's moving down. Okay? Because we are becoming aware. Well, people say we're awakening. I say reawakening. Because when we're born, we know all this stuff. that we're learning now. We already know that when we're born, but life happens, and we get conditioned by our parents and peers and teachers and clergymen. We get conditioned. And we forget. Because we get busy living. So, some of you are struggling with that. Unsuredness. Not being sure. And that's just the way it is around the collective. No one is sure of anything. This is where the fear comes from, and that the fear is where all the chaos comes from. We're going to be okay. We just have to get through this stuff. We have to remove the old stuff in order to see the new stuff. Yeah, see? On the bottom of the Rider-Waite Tarot was a Temperance card, which is about balance. Plain and simple. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're going to find. Because you are embodying this energy right here of the Empress. All right, let's move along. So we had the Wheel of Fortune, goes around, comes around, and the Two of Swords, which calls for balance. Well, this new moon is going to produce some of that balance. If you're listening, if you're able to listen to Spirit or God or Source talk to you, show you, follow your intuitions, sit quietly more, do things that relax you, and you'll be more receptive to hear what you're being told. Now, some of you might hear it audibly, some of you might hear it in your head, and some of you it might be a passing thought that isn't yours. Some of it you might literally feel it in your solar plexus and your root chakra. Okay? So the Two of Swords is about balance, and the balance comes, and the Swords is about cutting through the BS. That's where the balance is going to come from, because things will be illuminated, and you'll be able to see much more clearly. And then we have the Sun, a beautiful card. Sun is about productivity. It's about good health, good wealth. It's about growth. And the Sun makes things grow. Sorry, Spirit's talking. I'm trying to put it into words. Okay, so she's got her horse. She has her horse behind her. And that's, horses are strong and gentle at the same time. Right? So, this balance. And again, like I was, Spirit was telling me to tell you about the family dynamics and how things can be said that need to be said. That's going to cut through the BS. And that's where you're going to find the balance. So I see a lot of you with your home lives getting better. I think I said that. Getting better because of whatever comes out that needs to come out. Meantime, do that quiet time thing, because many of you are not grounded. No one is grounded all the time. We're human. It's very difficult to live between the 3D and the 4D and the 5D, or the 5D. It's very difficult to do that. But there is a balance. And the way to find that balance is that quiet time. Whether you call it meditation, you can Om, you can just sit there quietly and listen to music, or you can listen to the TV, or listen to your breathing. Just find some quiet time. That's, Spirit is strongly suggesting quiet time. So, I feel this is what you're coming out of. That despair. That Nine of Swords, that despair. Because that's what, so okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles, right? So the Nine of Pentacles is You're almost to 10. Almost seeing the fruits of your labor. And so is the Nine of Swords. You're almost out of that brain fog and confusion and, again, despair and fear. You're coming out of it. Which brings us to this card. How fitting. The Moon. Okay. Things are going to come to light. And some of you are going to hear things that you need to hear regarding the family or a partner or a child that is outside of the family. And I think that you're going to hear I speak English. I think you're going to hear these things from someone that you don't personally know, or you've met a couple of times, but you don't know them on a deep level. Things are going to come to light, and some of them are not going to be pleasant. So you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to make a decision on how to approach. And for some of you, approaching would not be the best. So take this as it fits for you. Approaching may not be the best course of action. But for some others, another group of you, it absolutely is the best course of action, especially if there's an innocent involved. You may have to take the reins and do what you gotta do. But again, love. Love and compassion. As much as you can muster. Things are coming to light. Yeah, Spirit's talking about addictions, alcohol, recreational drugs, gambling, shopping, games, video games. Some action may need to be taken. And once that action is taken, we have the Ace of Wands, which is the beginning of the swift movement. See, now, so this is why I'm saying 9 weeks. It's not just because of Mercury retrograde, but it's also because there's that delay. That's what Spirit's telling me. There's that delay with the Mercury retrograde. So there's that delay, and once that's passed, the movement really starts. And this is fresh movement because now everything is clarified. Things are clarified. Well, not everything that ever needed to be clarified for you is going to be clarified at once, but what you need to deal with now, those things will be clarified now. Keep dropping my cards. Those things will be clarified now. During this full moon, all the 3 planets that are retrograde because, that show us what's hidden. The full moon that shows us what's hidden. So I'm repeating myself now. But yeah, so about 9 weeks, things are really going to start moving forward. So that would put us in August, September, November. Okay? That's when you're going to, give or take. That's when you're going to start seeing things moving along with that Ace of Wands. Let's pick a word out of the word jar. One flew right out of there. Texting. Yeah, so you may get this message about the person you may or may not need to confront through a text message. Spirit's telling me to fact check first. Fact check. It's because the person that brings you this news may not have a clear picture. They may be telling you something based on their own opinion or how they perceive. Not that they're trying to get away with anything or be mean, but how they perceive things. Spirit says that for a group of you, that this message that you get from this outside person they may be turning it into this huge deal, and it really isn't that big of a deal. It needs to be addressed, but nip it in the bud is what Spirit's telling me. You're going to nip it in the bud. I just got a visual of you going, I'm watching you. Yeah. So, but you're going to be able to nip, for a group of you, you'll be able to nip it in the bud. All right. Just remember, we're all on our own path. We're all in a different place in our path. Repeating. These words aren't not going with any of these cards, so I'm going to take these as new messages. So repeating, yeah, this, because this had two different meanings to it today. It had the meaning of that you're coming out of it, and then it had the meaning of when you get this message from this outside person, you're going to be right back there in despair. So that's going to be repeating. And did I mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned old thought patterns, not old people, but people, thought patterns, ways of being, old comfort zones. Those are going to be coming back as well during the Mercury retrograde, because there's little pieces. You're going to be like, I could have sworn I let this go, and you did. But there's still a couple of little pieces. It's not that difficult to go back into an old way of thinking. It can sneak right by you. And you won't, unless you're aware, you may not even notice it for a minute. So there are going to be some repeating things, repeating people that you thought that you cut ties with that can't seem to get it through their heads, that you are not dealing with them. Spirit says that if you ignore it long enough, it'll go away. Spirit is referring to a human being that you've already cut ties with. Just ignore it. Ignore the calls. Ignore the texts. Ignore the knock on the door. Block them in every way, shape, or form from your social media to your phone. I mean, honestly, unless you have a child together, which is altogether possible, there is no reason for you to have that person on your social media anymore or on your phone. Not that you can help them calling you, but I'm just saying. There's no reason you can't block them unless there's a child involved that you have between you. Or a pet child. So, that's just a suggestion from Spirit. Spirit says don't take any crap. Reading. Yeah. That text message. Two things. When you're reading this text message, or it could be an email, or it could be a phone call. It's not written in stone that it's texting, but when you get this message that you're going to get, if you are reading it, remember, you can't tell a tone from a text message unless it's all capital letters, or they're cussing, right? Or there's a bunch of exclamation points. So be careful when you're reading a text. They may not be saying what you think they're saying, or they're not saying it in the way that you think they're saying, or that they're not saying it with malice or disgust or any of that stuff. So, and also, as I already said, they might be reading the situation wrong. So, just be wary, be aware. And then we have reputation. One of these people that you already cut ties with has a reputation for being, for lack of a better word, a dog, a player. That's the person you're going to want to block in every way, shape, or form. Spirit says you may need to change your phone number. I know it sucks. It's a lot of work. It really is. But you might need to change your phone number. If they keep coming to your house, you may need to relocate. It's a very real possibility. You may have to get the police involved. If they've already been involved and they still won't leave you alone, he or she still won't leave you alone, you might have to relocate. But look at it this way. If you did have to relocate, it's for a reason. Spirit has a reason for that. Source has a reason for that. Not to be mean, not to stress you out, not to make your life more difficult, but to make your life better in some way, shape, or form. All right. One more word. That's two. I don't need. Yeah, toxic. You think? Oh. When you get around this person, or this person gets around you, they are toxic, and then you get toxic. So, again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, Spirit. Again, I think Spirit just wants to reiterate so it's understood that this person that may come back around to you is not for you. Them being around you is not in your best interest. It's just going to move you backwards. So, you know, that did come up in a lot of readings for the longest time, and it's tapering off now, that person coming back. But again, people don't behave the way we want them to. Okay, so what was on the bottom of the deck? On the bottom of the deck was the Four of Pentacles for our crystal visions. Hanging on too tight. Now that can be hanging on too tight to money, or it can be hanging on too tight to an idea, or it can be hanging on too tight to a person. So there's something in your life that you got to loosen your grip on it. And it will be, and I think it has something to do with this having to confront somebody in your home. Once you loosen your grip, things will feel better. And you won't be carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders so much. Can't control other people's behaviors. Just your own. And on the bottom of the Meaning Tarot, we had the Three. Oh, the Empress again. Oh, look at that. Oh, we're double dipping, guys. It's a beautiful thing, people. The Empress again. So that's just a reiteration to that's the energy that you carry. And you're not going to carry it 24/7. But that's the energy that you carry right now. So Spirit's giving you a kudos. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. All right, so now we have a Healing Energy Oracle. And this is Courage. I'm going to have to read it to you. All right. This one says, I am stronger than fear and bigger than doubt. I am light and I remain light. I trust in God and stand tall before the tests of life. I grow and become wiser through every challenge. I am a being of new life. Yes, a being of new life. Yes. Oh, Spirit wants me to remind these changes, this transformation is slow for a reason. When we vibrate higher, our bodies need to adjust, basically. Physically, we need to adjust, and mentally and emotionally too, because it's unfamiliar. So I don't know about you, but I've been literally feeling vibrations in my torso. So let me know in the comments if you're feeling anything weird or funny, because there's a lot of ascension symptoms, a lot of spiritual awakening symptoms. And anger can be one of those. Anxiety, fear. But Spirit, again, wants you to know that you're okay and you're doing really well. Now, a daily angel oracle. This one is called Ask. Let me get my trusty flashlight so I can see what I'm looking at. Ask us to help you in this situation, and we will immediately go to work on your behalf. We're governed by many universal laws, and among them is the free will that allows you to make your own choices and decisions. So we patiently await your request. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. Every now and then, Spirit will step in. Every now and then. Spirit would prefer if you ask. And the second you ask, again, you have to be open to receive. You have to be open, you have to be receptive. Once you ask Spirit to step in and help you, they do that. So when that help comes, it may not be in the way you think it's going to be. It may not look the way you think it should look. Sometimes you can get help in a way that is painful. Humans don't learn from gentle. Humans learn from pain. So you may get your help by way of losing something or losing someone in some way, shape, or form. This too shall pass. It's not going to be that way forever. No one wants to be in emotional pain, ever. Unfortunately, that's part of the human condition. And it's one of the catalysts for growth is emotional pain and physical pain. All right. So the card that I got from the Del Toro deck, the last card, is the Wheel of Fortune again. Oh, look, we got it twice. It's a beautiful thing, people. So, again, what goes around comes around. So that tells me that's another cycle, but this is like a 9-week cycle. That's what I'm seeing. So you got past this part once, and you're about to go through it again. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're about to go through that part, through that despair again. Spirit says you got this. It doesn't have to be as traumatic as you're used to. Because you know how to move through this stuff. You've done it so many times, especially in the past few years. We have been working on this ascension, or raising the vibration, for years. It's here. We're doing it. And it can be painful, because with this ascension comes changes that are out of our control, unfortunately. But you're quickly, within 9 weeks, going to move into this fresh new beginning, rapid movement. And then that will be because another cycle has closed out. So you see how the cycles are faster, they're moving faster, because you're doing so much more work, and because we are vibrating at a higher level. And once we do that, I mean, it's like a fan, right? You put it on low, it's nice, yeah, it's okay. But the higher the setting on the fan, the more air it produces. It's like the faster it cycles up, the quicker the air gets to you. That's what I wanted. That's the analogy I wanted to give you. So we're vibrating at a higher level, so things are happening quicker. Even with the retrograde, the Mercury retrograde. I think this retrograde is going to be way more about the technology and communication and travel being messed up. It's not going to be our spiritual growth slowing down or moving backwards. We're going to keep moving forwards, because with the retrograde, we are getting a respite. We're getting a chance to reset. And the bottom card on our Del Toro deck was the Ace of Cups. So, new emotional space. Going through all that stuff, and there's that beautiful Wheel of Fortune in our favor, in your favor, in your favor. and it produces new emotional freedom. That's the word Spirit's telling me. Emotional freedom. Because again, you've already done this over and over and over. So when this next thing comes, the next thing that will be illuminated, that you're not expecting, I think you suspect it, but you haven't been wanting to confront it. Because it's scary. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. You know, if we were perfect, we wouldn't be human. We'd still be with Source. Just saying. So yeah. So you're doing fine. You guys are doing great. You enjoy that new moon. Full moon. See, I did it. Told you I was going to do that. Yeah, listen. One more thing before I let you go. So, full moons are about removing. New moons are about bringing in. So, this full moon, take every single that you can think of, every single person, place, situation, thing, thought pattern that you want to let go of, write it on a piece of paper, and then you put that in a bowl of salt water, and it doesn't have to be sea salt. It's the intention that matters. It's not the tools necessarily. Now I choose to put energized purified water in my bowl of salt water, and that's really easy to do. This is a Dolores Cannon thing that she mentioned it, and I was digging it. So I do it with my water. I put my hands over the water and give the water good juju. It actually changes the molecular structure of your water. So it is affecting the water. So do that. Give it some good juju. And then pour that in with your salt water. Or your salt, sea salt, or your table salt. And your list of every single thing you can think of that you'd like to get rid of. And keep it in your window from tonight until Wednesday. Full moon energy is good 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. All right, people, thanks for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell as well. I think I'm going to start, I'm going to see if I can do some shorts. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't made up my mind about that. Spirit and I are still discussing. But anywho, you have a beautiful day or a beautiful evening, and stay safe.